We are back with more Ognar Fairsteel, level 63, Nord Monk of Kyne, and we can do with some healing. And yep, we are all set. Head out for Git. Where is Git? Somewhere over here, I think. So let's start with the usual. We're already under the influence. Good to know. Bag. You off and you on. If only we had Daggerfall's climbing skill. I say that as if I've ever played Daggerfall before. Alright, where is Git? Oh, wow. No, we will not kill her. We will be peaceful.
If you care to talk, I would consider it a privilege.
I think this quest is like either still in development, because I don't think it really pans out with like finding out who killed her. Pretty certain this should just end the quest. Or at the very least, there's really nothing further one gains from trying to finish it.
With pleasure. Please, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Alright, rat extermination. That's exactly what a master of a guild should be doing. Rulia. Rulia. Aha. Anvil is quite far away, my friend.
If I can be of any assistance, I'll be happy to help.
Winnie? I don't want to kill Winnie.
If I can be of any assistance, I'll be happy to help.
Winnie has magically disappeared. Indeed she has.
You seem like very good company.
I see I stand in good company. What can I do for you?
Nobody back here.
If I can be of any assistance, I'll be happy to help.
Interesting. Alright. Where's Tondrel? Okay, that's not too far.
Yes, Outlander, what may I do for you?
Swift hunting, friend.
Read. Does this really count as following? Wasn't expecting that.
What do you want?
Nalis Varo. Ah.
If you care to talk, I would consider it a privilege.
Neat.
Please join me.
Alright.
With pleasure. Please, go ahead. I'm all ears.
A sincere welcome to you. May you be forever blessed.
Neat. If you're directly south. Directly south. Let me pull up the TR map. Neat. Is it even worth picking up 2 gold coins? Nick's mother. Turquoise. Bent probe. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Hmm. Well. Hmm.
A warm welcome to you.
I see we share the same company. What can I do for you?
I am never too busy for a good talk.
It's so dark in here.
I'd be happy to talk. My pleasure, really.
A sincere welcome to you. May you be forever blessed.
Of course, it was the quest giver that could read it. Oh no, she couldn't read it. We're going to Evan Tower.
Welcome. Please speak.
Before we do that, let's go back to Git and see if we have all the information that she wants. I love being able to just jump wherever I want. Oh no, my jump has worn off. There's Git. Neat. Oh, we
You
don't.
seem like very good company.
I guess it did pay off. You get an alchemy trainer, probably a good one, but we don't
We
need alchemy
share the
training.
same company. What can I do for you?
You know what? Let's take a look
You
in
seem
here.
like very good company.
Serve the Emperor and the Emperor's law. For King and Emperor.
Well, I find myself in pleasant
Stay as long as you
company.
like, friend.
Please.
It would be a
What say
privilege to
you?
talk with you.
Well,
Oh,
here's a fine one.
Poopy.
Speak freely.
Alright. Nothing in here. Big Sag. Neat. We're going
Greetings
to clear
to
out
you.
some
A
Daedra.
pleasure to meet you.
We shall do it in the name of Kyne. Tech. Tech. Did they mark it on the map? No, they did not. East of Old Ebonheart. Alright, I honestly have no idea where we are looking for. I don't even know where Sundered Scar even is. No point in wasting my time. Oh, wait. It is on the map, Sundered Scar, okay. And I believe we're in the Sundered Scar. It's just this is Dwemer. We want Daedric. Right? Yeah. Hmm. Tried looking a bit more, but so far I haven't come across anything. So, time to look it up. We... So here we are in Dondrel. Let's see if what's his face can tell us. Nope. No, that ain't it. How hard is it to find a Daedric ruin? Oh. We have found the Daedric place. Oh, just another frost knock. Golly, there's a lot of them. That sounded like a winged twilight.
Fetcher.
Alright. I can sell that, even though I really don't need to. What do I have in terms of stuff? I have 2 Grand Soul Gems and 2 things of summoning Golden Saints. Ooh, Soul Gems. And some of them were filled.
You haven't a chance against me. You're suffering. Great.
A Dwarven Dagger. None of you guys have any bread? For shame. Robbing from cultists. What better is there to do? What's more justified? In Ognar's eyes. Massive success. What? Neat. Not neat. When did I get this? What is this? 16 tones of Adam? What is that? Oh, it's a scroll. That only hurts himself. Okay. Daedric Warhammer. I could use this for all practical purposes.
This one is no more. You had your chance.
Is it dead? Oh, no. Neat. Big success. Daedric staff. Easy. Ebony Spirit. Nothing else down here? Alright. Oh wow. I need to go all the way to the bottom.
From the pen of Inzolicus, 2nd century sage, 3E 127. Following the Battle of Ichidag, the Emperor Uriel Septim III was captured, and before he was able to be brought to his uncle's castle in the Hammerfell kingdom of Ghislaine, he met his death at the hands of an angry mob. This uncle, Sepphoris, was thereafter proclaimed emperor and rode to the imperial city. The troops, formerly loyal to Emperor Uriel and his mother, the Wolf Queen Patima, pledged themselves to the new emperor. In return for their support, the nobility of Skyrim, High Rock, Hammerfell, the Somerset Isle, Valenwood, Blackmarsh and Morrowind demanded and received a new level of autonomy and independence from the Empire. The War of the Red Diamond was at an end. Patima continued to fight a losing battle, her area of influence dwindling and dwindling until only her kingdom of solitude remained in her power. She summoned Daedra to fight for her, had her necromancers resurrect her fallen enemies as undead warriors, and mounted attack after attack on the forces of her brothers, the Emperor Sepphoris Septim I and King Magnus of Lilmuth. Her allies began leaving her as her madness grew, and her only companions were the zombies and skeletons she had amassed over the years. The Kingdom of Solitude became a land of death. Stories of the ancient Wolf Queen being waited on by rotting skeletal chambermaids and holding war plans with vampiric generals terrified her subjects. 3E 137. Magnus opened up the small window in his room. For the first time in weeks he heard the sounds of a city. Carts squeaking, horses clopping over the cobblestones, and somewhere a child laughing. He smiled as he returned to his bedside to wash his face and finish dressing. There was a distinctive knock on the door. "Come in, Pell," he said. Pelagius bounded into the room. It was obvious that he had been up for hours. Magnus marvelled at his energy and wondered how much longer battles would last if they were run by 12-year-old boys. "Did you see outside yet?" Pelagius asked. "All the townspeople have come back. There are shops and a mages' guild, and down by the harbour I saw 100 shops come in from all over the place. They don't have to be afraid anymore. We've taken care of all the zombies and ghosts that used to be their neighbours, and they know it's safe to come back." "Is Uncle Kephorus going to turn into a zombie when he dies?" asked Pelagius. "I wouldn't put that past him," laughed Magnus. "Why do you ask?" "I heard some people saying that he was old and sick," said Pelagius. "He's not that old," said Magnus. "He's 60 years old. That's just 2 years older than I." "And how old is Aunt Fatima?" asked Pelagius. 70, said Magnus. "And yes, that is old. Any more questions will have to wait.
You
I have
seem
to go
like
meet with
very
the
good
commander
company.
now, but we can talk at supper. You can make
I must
yourself
say, I
busy
find
and
you
not
most
get into any
interesting right
trouble."
now. Please
"Yes,
go
sir,"
ahead.
said Pelagius. He understood that his father had to continue to hold siege on Aunt Fatima's castle. After they took it over and locked her up, they would move out of the inn and into the castle. Pelagius was not looking forward to that. The whole town had a funny, sweet, dead smell, but he could not get even as close as the castle moat without gagging from the stench. They could dump 1,000,000 flowers on the place, and it wouldn't make any difference at all. He walked through the city for hours, buying some food and then some ribbons for his sister and mother back in Lilmuth. He thought about who else he needed to buy gifts for, and was stumped. All his cousins, the children of Uncle Kephorus, Uncle Antiochus, and Aunt Fatima, had died during the war, some of them in battle, and some of them during the famines, because so many crops had been burned. Aunt Bianchi had died last year. There was only he, his mother, his sister, his father, and his uncle, the Emperor, left, and Aunt Fatima. But she didn't really count. When he came upon the Mages' Guild earlier that morning, he had decided not to go in. Those places always spooked him with their strange smoke and crystals and old books. This time it occurred to Pelagius that he might buy a gift for Uncle Kephorus, a souvenir of Solitude's Mages' Guild. An old woman was having trouble with the front door, so Pelagius opened it for her. "Thank you," she said. She was easily the oldest thing he'd ever seen. Her face looked like an old rotted apple framed with a wild whirl of bright white hair. He instinctively moved away from her gnarled talon when she started to pat him on the head. But there was a gem around her neck that immediately fascinated him. It was a single bright yellow jewel, but it almost looked there was something trapped within. When the light hit it from the candles, it brought out the form of a 4-legged beast, pacing. "It's a soul gem," she said, "infused with the spirit of a great demon werewolf. It was enchanted long, long ago with the power to charm people, but I've been thinking about giving it another spell, perhaps something from the School of Alteration like lock or shield." She paused and looked at the boy carefully with yellowed, rheumy eyes. "You look familiar to me, boy. What's your name?" "Pelagius," he said. He normally would have said Prince Pelagius, but he was told not to draw attention to himself while in town. "I used to know someone named Pelagius," the old woman said, and slowly smiled. "Are you here alone, Pelagius?"
Greetings,
"My father
honored
is
friend.
with the army, storming the castle, but he'll be back when the walls have been breached, which I dare say won't take too much longer," sighed the old woman. "Nothing, no matter how well built, tends to last. Are you buying something in the Mages' Guild?" "I wanted to buy a gift for my uncle," said Pelagius, "but I don't know if I have enough gold." The old woman left the boy to look over the wares while she went to the guild enchanter. He was a young Nord, ambitious and new to the kingdom of Solitude. It took little persuasion and a lot of gold to convince him to remove the charm spell from the soul gem and imbue it with a powerful curse, a slow poison that would drain wisdom from its wearer year by year until he or she lost all reason. She also purchased a cheap ring of fire resistance. "For your kindness to an old woman, I've bought you these," she said, giving the boy the necklace and the ring. "You can give the ring to your uncle and tell him it has been enchanted with a levitation spell, so if ever he needs to leap from high places, it will protect him. The soul gem is for you." "Thank you," said the boy, "but this is too kind of you." "Kindness has nothing to do with it," she answered, quite honestly. "You see, I was in the Hall of Records at the Imperial Palace once or twice, and I read about you in the foretellings of the Elder Scrolls. You will be emperor one day, my boy, the Emperor Pelagius Septim III, and with this soul gem to guide you, posterity will always remember you and your deeds." With those words, the old woman disappeared down an alley behind the Mages' Guild. Pelagius looked after her, but he did not think to search behind a heap of stones. If he had, he would have found a tunnel under the city into the very heart of Castle Solitude. And if he had found his way there, he would have found, past the shambling undead and the mouldering remains of a once grand palace, the bedroom of the Queen. In that bedroom, he would find the Wolf Queen of Solitude in repose, listening to the sounds of her castle collapsing, and he would see a toothless grin growing on her face as she breathed her last. From the pen of Inzolicus, 2nd century sage, 3E, 137. Patema Septim died after a month-long siege on her castle. While she lived, she had been the Wolf Queen of Solitude, daughter of the Emperor Pelagius II, wife of King Mantiarco, aunt of the Empress Quintira II, mother of Emperor Uriel III, and sister of the Emperors Antiochus and Sepphoris. At her death, Magnus appointed his son, Pelagius, as the titular head of Solitude, under guidance from the Royal Council. 3 Ep. 140. The Emperor Sepphoris Septim died after falling from his horse. His brother was proclaimed the Emperor Magnus Septim. 3 E. 141. Pelagius, King of Solitude, is recorded as occasionally eccentric in the imperial annals. He marries Catarish, Duchess of Vardenfell. 3 E. 145. The Emperor Magnus Septim dies. His son, who will be known as Pelagius the Mad, is coronated.
Neat. Although I was a bit confused about enchanting a soul gem. I do have to say that kind of made my head go off like, hey, that's not how things work. And also, you can't replace an enchantment on any items. I don't think in any game? I know not in Morrowind and in Skyrim. It's been a while since I played Oblivion. Alright, we're just doing some enchanting, stealing from the headmaster. I have no idea where Okabald went. I just wanted to talk to him and he wasn't even there. Okay, what else would we want? Okay, so let's put on the skirt. Let's... do that. Okay, look at that. That's some nice gloves. And we have 2 grand soul gems, so let's save. Nice. Also nice. I just love how she just stands there. So this is 40. Let's save again. I'm kind of afraid taking off this robe will break things. This says Daedric on it. you. Yeah, we'll enchant these ones. They're the better one. I mean, I really like the blue robes the best. Not those ones. Where's Magic Mirror? These robes look really nice, I have to say. But if we're gonna min-max, we gotta wear exquisite. Alright. We got 2 more that we can do. Let's see. Let's do... We don't have shoes. Shoes and belt would be not bad. Constant effect. Feather for 8 points on top of the feather we already have. I mean, we really don't need a feather. We're putting so much into strength. And yeah, this one would be worth it either. Oh god. Is this fire 4%? That was funny. It went to 753. What? For divine intervention. Detect animal would make sense for something of Kyne's. Not gonna lie. Just 8 points more into speed. I mean, we really don't need more speed. Golly, enchanting is just so difficult. I mean, it's not like we're bad at enchanting right now. We have an enchant. Oh, we only have an enchant of 85? We're no longer under the influence of anything? I guess we aren't. I don't think that's gonna change much. Let's see, which was one of the ones that did 10? Whoops, we want... Yeah, it's not gonna change much, really. Even with higher enchant. We could do 10 feet detect animal. I guess. That's 40. 40. Yeah, fortify health by 8 points. Lovely. I guess we can do resist fire for 4%. I'm not gonna like the mismatching gloves, to be honest. We already have plenty of sanctuary. Or that could let us do a new amulet in the future. Totally forgot to do that before. Getting the enchantments. Luckily, none of them are super expensive. I guess we just take arrows. know what? Let's do shenanigans. Let's see what's behind this door. Just a bunch of Dwemer stuff. Oh, I can sleep here. So let's just sleep for 24 hours. And apparently I'm still a little bit tired, so make it a good more 4 hours.
Well, I find myself in pleasant company.
Everybody's an idiot.
Share your thoughts.
Well, I guess while we still can, we'll wear the magic mirror. And this will be Ognar for just a little bit longer. Well, that's
Well
actually a
met.
detailed description. But they said soul gems. Let's see if the TR map can help me just a little bit. We're looking for an Oran plantation. Oh, I see where Oran plantation is. Alright. We are going... Ah, it is already on our map. Wonderful. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to stop using that. But we can use this still. Right, I didn't replace my shoes, did I? I chose instead to replace the glove. This, though, will be getting replaced eventually. god darn it, wrong thing. This glove of Kyne's light is perfect. To the northmost edge of the plantation. This is a clearing, I'd say. I guess this is technically part of the plantation. Aha!
you can.
Neat. Way to the hidden. Falling second barrier ring. Nope, nobody down here. Neat. Mad Eye the Dead.
Two, Hearthfire, 2920, Gideon, Black Marsh. The Empress. Tavia lay across her bed, a hot, late summer wind she could not feel banging the shutters of her cell to and fro against the iron bars. Her throat felt like it was on fire, but still she sobbed uncontrollably, wringing her last tapestry in her hands. Her wailing echoed throughout the hollow halls of Castle Giovese, stopping maids in their washing and guards in their conversation. One of her women came up the narrow stairs to see her mistress, but her chief guard Zook stood at the doorway and shook his head. "She's just heard that her son is dead," he said quietly. 5 Hearthfire, 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. "Your Imperial Majesty," said the potentate Versidue Shae through the door. "You can open the door. I assure you you're perfectly safe. No one wants to kill you." "Mara's blood!" came the Emperor Remen III's voice, muffled, hysterical, tinged with madness. "Someone assassinated the prince, and he was holding my shield. They could have thought he was me." "You're certainly correct, Your Imperial Majesty," replied the potentate, expunging any mocking qualities from his voice, while his black slitted eyes rolled contemptuously. "And we must find and punish the evildoer responsible for your son's death. But we cannot do it without you. You must be brave for your empire." There was no reply. "At the very least, come out and sign the order for Lady Rhea's execution," called the potentate. "Let us dispose of the one traitor and assassin we know of." A brief pause, and then the sound of furniture scraping across the floor. Riemann opened the door just a crack, but the potentate could see his angry, fearful face and the terrible mound of ripped tissue that used to be his right eye. Despite the best healers in the Empire, it was still a ghastly souvenir of the Lady Ria's work in Thurzo Fortress. "Hand me the order," the Emperor snarled. "I'll sign it with pleasure." 6. Hearthfire, 2920. Gideon, Cyrodiil. The strange blue glow of the will-o'-the-wisps, a combination, so she'd be told, of swamp gas and spiritual energy, had always frightened Tavia as she looked out her window. Now it seemed strangely comforting. Beyond the bog lay the city of Gideon. It was funny, she thought, that she had never stepped foot in its streets, though she had watched it every day for 17 years. "Can you think of anything I've forgotten?" she asked, turning to look back on the loyal Kothringi Zook. "I know exactly what to do," he said simply. He seemed to smile, but the Empress realized that it was only her own face reflected in his silvery skin. She was smiling, and she didn't even realize it. "Make certain you aren't followed," she warned. "I don't want my husband to know where my gold's been hiding all these years, and do take your share of it. You've been a good friend." The Empress Tavia stepped forward and dropped from sight into the mists. Zook replaced the bars on the tower window and threw a blanket over some pillows on her bed. With any luck, they would not discover her body on the lawn until morning, at which time he hoped to be halfway to Morrowind. 9 Hearthfire, 2920 Phrygius, High Rock. The strange trees on all sides resembled knobby piles, crowned with great bursts of reds, yellows, and oranges, like insect mounds caught fire. The Rothgarian mountains were fading into the misty afternoon. Turala marveled at the sight, so alien, so different from Morrowind, as she plodded the horse forward into an open pasture. Behind her, head nodding against his chest, Cassier slept, cradling Bosriel. For a moment, Turala considered jumping the low-painted fence that crossed the field, but she thought better of it. Let Cassier sleep for a few more hours before giving him the reins. As the horse passed into the field, Turala saw the small green house on the next hill, half hidden in forest. So picturesque was the image, she felt herself lull into a pleasant, half-sleeping state. A blast of a horn brought her back to reality with a shudder. Cassier opened his eyes. "Where are we?" he hissed. "I don't know," Turala stammered, wide-eyed. "What is that sound?" "Orcs," he whispered. "A hunting party. Head for the thicket quickly." Turala trotted the horse into the small collection of trees. Cassier handed her the child and dismounted. He began pulling their bags off next, throwing them into the bushes. A sound started then, a distant rumbling of footfall growing louder and closer. Turala climbed off carefully.
"Greetings
and
to
helped
you.
Cassier
A pleasure to
unburden the
meet you."
horse. All the while, Bosriel watched open-eyed. Turala sometimes worried that her baby
Welcome,
never cried.
Nord. It
Now
would be
she
a
was
pleasure to
grateful
speak
for
with
it.
you.
With the last of the luggage off, Cassier slapped the horse's rear, sending it galloping into the field. Taking Turala's hand, he hunkered down in the bushes. "With luck," he murmured. "They'll think she's wild or belongs to the farm and won't go looking for the rider." As he spoke, a horde of orcs surged into the field, blasting their horns. Turala had seen orcs before, but never in such abundance, never with such bestial confidence. Roaring with delight at the horse and its confused state, they hastened past the timber where Cassier, Turala, and Bosriel hid. The wildflowers flew into the air at their stampede, powdering the air with seeds. Turala tried to hold back a sneeze and thought she succeeded. One of the orcs heard something, though, and brought another with him to investigate. Cassier quietly unsheathed his sword, mustering all the confidence he could. His skills, such as they were in spying, not combat, but he vowed to protect Turala and her babe for as long as he could. Perhaps he would slay these two, he reasoned, but not before they cried out and brought the rest of the horde. Suddenly, something invisible swept through the bushes
Nord.
like a wind. The orcs flew backwards, falling dead on their backs. Turala turned and saw a wrinkled crone with bright red hair emerge from a nearby bush. "I thought you were going to bring them right to me," she whispered, smiling, Best come with me." The three followed the old woman through a deep crevasse of bramble bushes that ran through the field toward the house on the hill. As they emerged on the other side, the
If I can
woman
be of
turned to
any
look at the
assistance, I'll be
orcs
happy to
feasting
help.
on the remains of the horse, a blood-soaked orgy to the beat of multiple horns. "That horse yours?" she asked. When Cassia nodded, she laughed loudly. "That's rich meat, that is. Those monsters will have bellyaches and flatulence in the morning. Serves 'em right." "Shouldn't we keep moving?" whispered Turala, unnerved by the woman's laughter. "They won't come up here," she grinned, looking at Bosriel, who smiled back. "They're too afraid of us." Turala turned to Kassir, who shook his head. "Witches. Am I correct in assuming that this is old Barbin's farm, the home of the Skeffington Coven?" "You are, pet." The old woman giggled girlishly, pleased
The
to be so
finest
infamous.
potions and
"I am
elixirs in
Minister
town are
Skeffington.
right here.
What did you do to those orcs?" asked Turala, "back there in the thicket." "Spirit fist right side the head," Minister said, continuing the climb up the hill. Ahead of them was the farmhouse grounds, a well, a chicken coop, a pond, women of all ages doing chores, the laughter of children at play. The old woman turned and saw that Turala did not understand. "Don't you have witches where you come from, child?" "None that I know of," she said. "There are all sorts of wielders of magic in Tamriel," she explained. "The Sigic's magic like it's their painful duty. The battle mages in the army on the other end of the scale hurl spells like arrows. We witches commune and conjure and celebrate. To fell those orcs, I merely whispered to the spirits of the air, Amaro, Pina, Talitha, the fingers of Kinnereth, and the breath of the world, with whom I have an intimate acquaintance, to smack those bastards dead. You see, conjuration is not about might or solving riddles or agonizing over musty old scrolls. It's about fostering relations. Being friendly, you might say." "Well, we certainly
Good
appreciate you
friend,
being friendly with us,"
this
said
is an
Kassir.
honor.
"As well you might," coughed Minister. "Your kind destroyed the orc homeland 2,000 years ago. Before that, they never came all the way up here and bothered us. Now let's get you cleaned up and fed." With that, Minister led them into the farm, and Turala met the family of the Skeffington Coven. 11 Hearthfire, 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Ridya had not even tried to sleep the night before, and she found the somber music played during her execution to have a soporific effect. It was as if she was willing herself to be unconscious before the axe stroke. Her eyes were bound so she could not see her former lover, the Emperor, seated before her, glaring with his one good eye. She could not see the potentate Versidouche, his coil neatly wrapped beneath him, a look of triumph in his golden face. She could feel, numbly, the executioner's hand touch her back to steady her. She flinched like a dreamer trying to awake. The first blow caught the back of her head, and she screamed. The next hacked through her neck, and she was dead. The Emperor turned to the potentate wearily. "Now that's done. You said she had a pretty sister in Hammerfell named Corda?"
I have
18 Hearthfire, 2920, Dwinnen High Rock. The horse the witches had sold him was not as good as his old one, Kassir considered. Spirit worship and sacrifice and sisterhood might be all well and good for conjuring spirits, but it tends to spoil beasts of burden. Still, there was little to complain about. With the Dunmer woman and her child gone, he had made excellent time. Ahead were the walls surrounding the city of his homeland. Almost at once he was set upon by his old friends and family. "How went the war?" cried his cousin, running to the road. "Is it true that Vivek signed a peace with the prince, but the Emperor refuses to honor it?" "That's not how it was it?" asked a friend, joining them. "I heard that the Dunmer had the prince murdered and then made up a story about a treaty, but there's no evidence for it." "Isn't there anything interesting happening here?" Kassir laughed. "I really don't have the least interest in discussing the war or Vivek." "You missed the procession of the Lady Corda," said his friend. "She came across the bay with full entourage and then east to the Imperial City." "But that's nothing. What was Vivek like?" asked his cousin eagerly. "He's supposed to be a living god." "If Sheogorath steps down and they need another god of madness, he'll do," said Kassir haughtily. "And the women?" asked the
May I
lad,
interest you?
who had only seen Dunmer ladies on very rare occasions. Kassir merely smiled. Turala Skeffington flashed into his mind for an instant before fading away. She would be happy with the coven, and her child would be well cared for. But they were part of the past now, a place and a war he wanted to forget forever. Dismounting his horse, he walked it into the city, chatting of trivial gossip of life on the Iliac Bay. The year is
Yes,
continued
Outlander, what
in
may I
Frostfall.
do for you?
The
That was a
finest
good story.
potions and elixirs in town are right here.
It doesn't say how many we need, so hopefully this is enough. Alright. We have one moon moth. We have some black women, black lichen, and some grave dust.
Oh,
So all that we are missing is the black rose. Can I get black rose? Oh, she doesn't have any information. Sure. Alright. To the interwebs. More wind, black rose.
Well, hello there.
Even more vendors. Ooh, this one sells quite a bit.
a pleasure. Looking to buy something?
I'll take that, and then let's just go through these. Yeah, we'll sell that. Not exactly what we're looking for, but oh well. Oh hey, I have skooma on me? Neat.
Share your thoughts, friend. I enjoy the company.
Don't mind me. I'm just searching for some black rose. Yeah, she doesn't have black rose.
Share your thoughts, friend. I enjoy the company.
But it's supposed to be in the towers. Nope, that just leads to Undercroft. Now we're just back in the same area. Well.
This is fortunate. How do you do, Lord?
Hail and welcome, friend. Hail!
Greetings. It's not often I've...
Success. I don't know why I keep on thinking I made the boots.
hello.
You seem like very good company.
Sag. Interesting. He had a black rose right up here. Oh well. Neat. 5 greater soul gems.
Greetings to you. A pleasure to meet you.
Is that it? There's still this.
I must say, I find you most interesting right now. Please, go ahead. I shouldn't have pushed so hard.
Well,
I
I
must
guess
say,
there's
I
no
find
more
you
duties
most
here.
interesting right now.
You
Please
seem
go
like
ahead.
very good company.
How are you? Welcome. If you wish to talk, it is really no trouble at all.
You've piqued my interest. Please, share your
You
thoughts.
seem like very good company.
Resist fire, strength, fatigue, light, shock, health. Do I know I don't have this equipped? Yeah, I am losing stamina using just the belt. But this is just 120. I feel like it would be better spent. On like a reflect or something. Oh well. We'll probably create multiple sets of constant enchantment. But I think this is where we shall end things. So, good old 76. And what do we have forward to look towards next time? Probably continuing on our way. Yeah, I'd have to look at our quests to see what we'd be doing next time. I don't see anything in Sadra Moor or Wolverine Hall. Yeah, we're getting pretty well done with most of the vanilla quest lines. As far as mage skills goes, we're just basically waiting to get enchant to 90, which is definitely going to take a while. And then there's some stuff up here that we need to do. Oh, interesting. But yeah, there's still much more to do. We still have all of Solstheim. We still have, of course, Mournhold, which is probably somewhere around here. I don't think we can walk to Mournhold. And then we will visit Skyrim and go to Markarth at the very least at some point. But it's just honestly just fascinating that this game, because it's like this, with how much we have in here. Like, let's see, we just saved. Time played 4 days. 4 days so far. I mean, that doesn't really compare to some of my Skyrim runs that can get to like 500, 600 hours. But it's getting close, and there's still so much. There's still so much of just the mainland of Morrowind. It's entirely missing this area. I'm entirely missing Skyrim and Cyrodiil. And there's still plenty to do. Maybe it would be worth going up towards this area for the Constance's quest before continuing on our way around. Start focusing much more on... Yeah, we could even go south. Alon Oak, we've had a couple of quests waiting that I've just been waiting to do. But yep, that will be all. Take care.